What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video and welcome back to another quite highly requested Q&A. Now, there was quite a few messages on Instagram wanting to kind of go further into a Q&A, answer a few more questions and things like that just for YouTube. So what I thought I would do was, instead of dominantly only focusing on training, instead of dominantly only focusing on food, on a day in the life, on this, that, the next thing, I would just go back to doing another Q&A. So I do have the iPad here with me again. I've got between something like 15 and 20 questions, so I do hope that's enough. Just kind of took a random 15 to 20 questions from my Instagram. I will answer as many as I can. I believe I will answer all of these anyway. I'll still include a little workout edit at the end of the video, or maybe even at the start of the video, probably at the end of the video. So stay tuned for that one, guys. But the main thing, we're going to do a Q&A today. So iPad here, I'm going to get on with these questions. I do hope you guys enjoy this. If you do enjoy it, then don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. First question, what do you think about carb cycling for fat loss? I mean, I believe carb cycling is definitely really beneficial. Me, myself, throughout the off season, I don't do that because it's just a case of I kind of treat my off season just for really growing. But in a fat loss phase, near the kind of end of prep, I do believe that we do a little bit of carb cycling. I believe that anyway. I just kind of get told what to do it, and that's really it. But I do believe it's beneficial. So if you try it and it works for you, then keep it in. But as I said, for me, near the kind of end of the fat loss phase is when we do bring it in. So I would recommend it. I've got nothing against it. See if it works for you, and if it does, then stick with it. Would you ever get a second dog? To be quite honest, I mean, it would be great to get a second dog, but at the same time, Benji is like, the neediness of Benji is like up here, and it's like quite a struggle because he's like more needy than like a newborn child. So I don't believe I could go through like another one of that. I mean, totally fine if it wasn't going to be as needy as Benji, but then again, I don't even know how Benji would react if I turned up at home with another dog. He would either be like, oh my god, this is absolutely amazing, or he would either be like, Kiffy, what on God's earth is that thing sitting there? Do you know what I mean? What have you just brought home? What am I going to have to put up with now? So again, I don't believe I could get a second dog. One is definitely enough. Of course, I do love him. I'd be lost without him. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. So I don't believe I would get a second dog. How do you apply soap to your back? Not actually that big yet, so I don't actually find it a problem. You just kind of have to go with it. I mean, I'm not exactly that flexible, but on this side, I mean, as you can see, like, I can kind of, you know, reach my back. It's not really that much of a problem. This side's a bit different because I don't know what it is. I'm not that flexible on this side, but I can't actually get like my hand all the way around. Can you see that? It's like this one kind of stuck, but I mean, I'm not actually that big yet. Once I kind of maybe reach, I don't know, a bigger level, then it might be a bit of a struggle, but I don't actually know. I mean, I'm not that big yet, so I don't actually find it a problem to wash my back. Are you on steroids? Funnily enough, I'm not actually on steroids. That's quite a frequently asked question that, you know, there's not really that much answers to, but am I on steroids? It's weird that, no, I'm not on steroids. I never have been on steroids. I don't plan on going on steroids. And I mean, the question's probably always going to get asked. I'm frequently going to get accused of it, like normal. It's just one of the things that I compete naturally, I get tested throughout the year, and unfortunately that's still not enough for a lot of people. So it's always going to be out there, but the best thing about it is I simply just do not give a flying. I feel that's the best attitude you've got to go with. You just don't give a about absolutely anything or anyone but yourself, but your own progression. You just kind of get on with it. If you let that get to you, you're just going to hinder your own progression. You're going to go back the way. The answer to that is I am not on steroids. Ever fancy a gym road trip UK? This is actually something that I'm really interested in because there are so many gyms across the UK that I want to get to. One of them being Ultraflex in Rotherham, just because of all the kit they've got. Calibrated plates, I'm desperate to deadlift with calibrated plates. Now don't even ask me why, I just think they're so cool. And I'm desperate to get on a platform, load the bar up with calibrated plates and have a really big session. So Ultraflex in Rotherham, Flex and Tone I believe is in Manchester. I want to get to that gym. That is just a couple to name, but there are lots across the UK that I would really love to get to. I mean, there's only been a few big gyms that's really been good that I've been to. So Durham for one, Body Academy in Perth for one, Future Fitness in Glasgow for another one. There has been quite a few really good gyms that I've been to, but again, there's so many across the UK. Even at that, there's been so many across the world that actually really looks good that I would love to get to. So that's definitely on the cards. Maybe not this year, might be this year, might be next year, but I will definitely be making the trip to a lot more gyms just to get some good sessions in, get some content. That's one of the biggest things as well. But at the same time, the love for training is there, so it's always going to be a thing. I'm never going to have a problem travelling quite far just for a training session, do you know what I mean? Other people will kind of look at that and go, are you actually travelling like 4 hours just to have a training session? I don't find that a problem. I love my training and I would really love to get to different gyms. So yes, I fancy a road trip in the UK, of course I do. That is definitely going to be happening sometime soon. Bring back the coffin dance videos. It's something that I would actually love to do, but at the same time, I can't find any new ones that I really sit and actually laugh my head off at. Like most of them that were getting shared at the very start were actually quite funny. They were that brutal, that they were that funny, but I kind of think it's just died down now and there's not that many out there now. So I think it's really old news that it might come back around, there might be funnier videos, but at the same time, I've not seen any more. So I would love to bring it back, but at the same time, I'm probably going to have to make them myself and I probably won't laugh at them that much. So there's not much chance of them coming back around. Have you ever tripped overweight while trying to act cool? Funnily enough, I've actually done this on quite a few occasions, but again, you know, I'm that cool that basically I've not actually had to act, I've just had to act natural, do you know what I mean? So it's never ever been a problem. But yes, I have tripped over weight and of course, you know, tried to have to act cool. I struggle to put on mass even on 300 calorie surplus. Any tips? You know, the only answer to this question is put yourself in a bigger surplus. That is one of the things, especially if your expenditure, if you can't bring your expenditure down, then you're just simply going to have to up your food. It's the only other way. You could try your 300 calorie surplus and bring your expenditure down, but a lot of people struggle to bring that down. So the only other way to that is up your food, 400 calories, 500 calories, you know, 1,000 calories. You've got to do whatever it takes to put on the mass, put on the size that you want to put on. There's not really much else about it. There's no magic supplements, there's no magic protein powders or anything like that out there. You can't lift an extra weight in the gym. There's not going to be anything apart from your food, your fuel that you put in your body to put on the size. So if you struggle in a 300 calorie surplus, bring your expenditure down and try it, or keep your expenditure the same and up your food. What's your diet like? Then I'll mate any target weight for a stage. What I'll do is I'll stick a link in the description box for the latest full day of eating, which is just all the foods that I eat to get shredded. That is the same foods that's all the way throughout my prep. It doesn't change. Target weight for stage, I'm not actually sure. I'm just kind of going to go with it. The last time I was on stage, I was 181 pounds, which I believe falls at kind of 81 kilo or something like that. So I don't have a target weight. Of course I would like to be a bit heavier just to see if I put any size on, but at the same time you might find that I end up a lower weight on stage, who knows. All I'm aiming for is to bring that best package for stage for the BNBF finals come 10 weeks time. So again, no target weights. What's my diet like now? Again, my oats first thing in the morning, white potato, sweet potato, chicken. That's really it, to be quite honest. Iron Brew or haggis? Only one out of them two that I've had is Iron Brew. Now I used to drink a lot of Iron Brew, then I kind of went off it and I've not drank it in years. And haggis, I've never ate haggis in my life. I absolutely despise the look of it. I've never tasted it again, so don't call me out on it that it's obviously really nice. I've never tasted it. I'm probably not going to taste it because I don't like the look of it. That is really it. I'm going to have to go with Iron Brew on this one. Next question. What was the last thing you searched for on your phone? I don't even know what the last thing was that I searched on my phone for. I don't actually search that much. I don't actually Google that much stuff unless I'm buying something. So to be quite honest, it was probably something to do with the gym if I was buying something. I'm not actually that sure. I do Google some weird things, that is quite true, but again, they're probably the most common sense things that I just don't understand. I couldn't actually tell you. Nah, I'm not sure, don't have a clue. How many selfies do you take in a day? I don't actually take that many selfies, to be quite honest. Like, I will be the first one to admit, I do take the odd selfie here and there. I only ever take a selfie if I thought that the pump was pretty decent, it was going to be pretty decent for some content, or it was maybe even something to put up on my story, or it was just to kind of take the mick out of something, or yeah, the pump would have to be good. The pump would have to be good for a selfie to be taken, do you know what I mean? You don't just take a selfie for the sake of it. Like, you don't necessarily come in and train legs and think, right, I'm going to go and take a selfie today, do you know what I mean? It's a lot different whenever you come in and say, for instance, you're training something like shoulders or something, or arms for instance, then there's kind of more of the reason up there to kind of take a selfie, but I don't actually take that many. Any of the selfies that I do take, half the time they do just get deleted. So it's like when you take a selfie and you think, right, that actually looks quite good at the time, and then like 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later you look at it again, and the more you look at something, the worse it actually looks. So you end up deleting it and then you just forget about it, and half the time you do regret it, but then half the time you think, no, that was actually quite bad. So most of the time when I do take them, they either get put up or half the time they do get deleted. Can lifting weights combined with basketball? So I'm assuming you're asking me, can you lift weights and do basketball at the same time? I don't see why you couldn't do both of them at the same time, but I do see why one of them could kind of hinder the other. So let's be honest, the reality is you don't want to be a bodybuilder that's a basketball player. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to be huge and be a basketball player. I don't believe that it's wrong to lift weights and do basketball, but at the same time you just kind of have to make sure that you're not hindering your progress if say you're a basketball player. Now it's different if say you were just doing basketball for a hobby and obviously lifting weights was kind of more of your kind of career kind of side of things, then yeah, definitely, of course you can lift weights and do basketball. But at the same time, if basketball is your kind of main thing and the gym is just on the side, then you kind of want to make sure that you're not hindering the basketball. Be sure you do one to the certain extent where you're not hindering the other, especially if that's the kind of main thing. Do you always train to failure, or do you aim for a number of reps and just see if you can get it / go past it? So this is quite a big question because I'm always getting asked about really the kind of frequency or volume within my training. So how many reps do I do, the rep ranges that I work with, the sets that I kind of play with, and to be quite honest, it's like there's no specific rep range. I do take all my training to as many reps as I can, so I do take my training to failure. Sometimes I do go in with numbers in my head that I really want to hit and see if I can hit that, so especially on things like deadlifts, maybe bench press, bent over rows and things like that. If I get a number in my head and a set in my head for that amount of reps, I will go in and do my absolute best to either hit that or take it past that. Do you know what I mean? So I do like to take all my sets to failure, so as many reps as possible, but I also do like sometimes to have a set in my head, go in and try and absolutely smash that set. Or even in the session, if I think of something, however I'm feeling on the day, I might take a set to as far as what I think I can take it to. So I might kind of have a set in my head that I'm going into for my top set, then I'll go in and try and take that set. So yeah, I do take my sets to failure all the time. I don't really see the point in the kind of leaving reps in reserve. Obviously they've got their place and things like that in specific training, but for me, it's just a no-go. I take all my sets to as many reps as I can. I like to take my body past where it knows and even further than that. So yeah, I take all my training to failure, and I do kind of also have numbers and sets in my head that I come in and I will try and get. Are you still natural since the goal is Mr. Olympia? Am I still natural? Yes, I did just answer that. So I'm not on steroids. I am still natural. I will be natural for, I don't even know however long I am going to be on this planet for, probably. But it's just a case of, obviously the goal is the Mr. Olympia stage. Let's not be daft, let's be realistic as possible here, but at the same time, I'm not one for setting realistic goals. Now, as you will have seen from all of my lifts, I'm not going to sit here and just talk absolute rubbish and say that they were all realistic sets. Like when I was 19, 20 for instance, and setting the kind of goal of wanting to pull 7 plates off the floor before my 21st birthday, it did happen. I'm way past that now, into reps, 290, 280, 270 and so on for reps. Like I remember when they were just big goals for singles, now I'm taking them for like big sets. So again, I'm not one for setting realistic goals. I want to remain natural. I want to get as big as I can natural. Like I've not long turned 22 years old, so I am still growing naturally, which is one of the biggest things that people have been taking advantage of, and again just jumping straight on when they've not been reaching their max potential, so they don't even know where they are. Do you know what I mean? So you can go on cycle and then come off and come back to where you were, but you've not even reached your max potential. Wasted that kind of time. Whereas when you're in like your young state, especially for like younger bodybuilders coming up, once you're in your natural growing phase where your body is just growing and growing and growing, hammer the food in, train like an absolute demon, make it worth it, reach your max potential before actually realizing like what your genetics might be, or how far you can take your physique to the next level, or what you need to do to take your physique to the next level. So yes, still natural, will always be the Olympia. I'm never going to sit here and lie to you guys. I'm going to be 100% honest. The Olympia stage is the long-term goal. I will do my absolute best to get there. I will do what I need to do to get there. Also, one of the biggest things, you need to do whatever it takes, so there can always be something else to take your physique or yourself or your business or whatever to the next level. You just need to be willing to do whatever it takes. You're willing to make the sacrifices. You just need to be willing to do whatever you need to do to reach that next level. Be it for tonight's Q&A. I did answer all of the ones that I took down on my iPad that I screenshotted anyway from the Q&A. If I didn't answer your question, I will direct message you on Instagram just to make sure that I get back to absolutely everybody. Once again, guys, I do hope you did enjoy that. So if you did enjoy it, then don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next video.